Hello everyone, welcome back. At the end of our last video we ran into some misfortune, but that now gives us the opportunity to try something new in a new place. So I'll show you what I've done to get us caught up to where we were before we died in the last video. This time we got started in a taiga, which is a spruce tree biome, hilly and lots of trees, lots of spruce trees specifically, not a lot of anything else. One of the things that you see in taiga biomes, you see these berry bushes, and that made my early game a little bit easier. Berries, you can just right click on the bush there and they pop right off, or you can left click on the bush and they break, also dropping the berries. And you can take those berries, you can right click to plant, and it'll start as a small bush, but it'll grow up into that size bush pretty quickly. And I did a lot of eating berries when I first started. It's really nice when you start in a taiga because you can usually very easily find these berry bushes just around somewhere. And they're pretty slow to eat. Once my hunger drops a little bit, I'll show you how fast, but they only fill up one of those 10 points of hunger that we have down there at the bottom. And they don't give us very much health either. So they're really only good as early game food. And, well, there's a villager that you can trade them to. And we'll be doing that pretty soon, getting some villagers here that we can start trading with, and I'll explain how that works and why we want to do it later. But these berries are pretty useful early on and can become fairly useful later on, depending on how you decide to go with your camp. So, like I said, these berries kept me going early on before I got this farm field going. You can see that there's a bunch of wheat there. It's almost ripe. Right over here we have some potatoes. I found some potatoes while I was getting this camp set up, and I decided to plant them. Now, as you may recall, I mentioned that we use potatoes to attract pigs to our camp. Got their little spot for them right here. You can see I've already brought the chickens and cows and sheep along, and I've been breeding them a bit. Got quite a bit of them now. We can start butchering them and getting resources from them. These two marks I made here. Spawn is right here. I didn't mark it when I first came into the game. Usually I do that. And I ended up using that place for these livestock pens. These quick and dirty livestock pens. We'll build some better ones later. So yeah, we've got this farm field here laid out the way I like to do it. You can see these two holes in the rocks here and here. Those used to have water coming out of them. Water flowed down over here and it kind of made a big fan of water that went across this way. And my initial farming was right along the edge of where that water spilled out. And it was a pretty interesting little starting farm. It was one of the things that made me think, wow, this is an interesting little place to start. Unfortunately, I didn't want to start taking a whole lot of videos until I had this camp where we had the other one, so I just thought I'd tell you about that rather than showing you. It was something fun for me as I was getting going again. I have over here a pumpkin farming plot that works a lot like the melon farming place we had earlier. I'll show you how that works exactly because I've made some changes to what we just kind of threw together in that other camp. Let's see, of course we've got our Enderman slaying hut up here. So far I haven't seen any Endermen, but if I do, we will know where to go. Walk around in our little sandbox and chop away. We'll be moving this stuff eventually. We're going to build ourselves a house sometime relatively soon, and when we do, we'll move all that that stuff into the house, wherever we decide to put it, maybe over there, I don't know yet, I haven't decided. I've got a mine started again. Just barely started. It's not really as far along as the one in our other game. It does take a long time to dig things out with stone picks, and I decided, since you've already seen those mine shafts and it takes a while to get those really going, that I'm going to focus on trying to get better tools first before I do much work down there. And that's why we're going to start trading with villagers very soon. Not in this video, maybe not in the next video, but very soon. So yeah, that's our new camp. We've got a sugarcane operation here, and it looks pretty nice. It's smaller than our old one. We're gonna have to knock that hill out to expand it, or we're gonna have to expand that way, and if I'm gonna expand that way, I think my canals go the wrong direction, but that's okay. We'll worry about that shortly. There's one little trick I sort of figured out while I was organizing, I guess, this area here. I wanted to show it to you real quick. It's just a little thing, but I found it interesting. Thought I would share. So, you know, laying down the sugar cane can be a little tedious. You only have to do it once, so it's not a big deal. So I don't spend a whole lot of time problem solving. Oh, how can I make that faster? Because I do it once and then I'm done. But I did learn one little trick, how to make it a little faster. So if you've got canals like this already laid out, you can just stand in the canal and walk down the side like this, or walk sideways down the canal like this, and you can just right click and lay out the sugarcane that way. Now that's not that big of a revelation, but the thing that I hadn't thought to try before was this. If you don't aim at the square right in front of you, you aim the square behind it, you just hold down the right mouse button, and it'll do both rows without you accidentally placing sugarcane on top of each other, which is something we want to avoid. We want to build our operation as quickly as possible, so we want to not have to knock stuff down that we've already planted. That just, you know, it's kind of a waste of time. And we want our sugarcane to be able to be laid out on as many squares as possible, even though we're not going to put them there because that makes it messy to harvest later. But we want to be able to lay out as many as possible so that we can get as much growing as quickly as possible. The early game, we want to get moving quickly. We want to get to the good stuff. And that's why we do some things the same way every time, no matter how many times we die and have to start over again. And of course, improvements are always welcome, but if there's not an improvement, there's no need to reinvent the wheel every time. So these are our patterns that we work with, and it's nice when you get a little refinement, when you discover refinement to one of the patterns that you've been working with. So that's our camp so far. I was going to show you bringing the pigs in. I mean, it's nothing different than what we've already done with other livestock, but I thought, you know, hey, new camp, new start, new game. Let's bring in new livestock as part of that. We haven't done that on camera yet, so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go find a couple of pigs and bring them back. And here's one. And we've got another one around here somewhere, unless it's wandered off and gotten itself killed. Livestock is usually pretty good about not doing that, but sometimes they do. Now, I saw two over here earlier when I was moving through. I dug out this canal for reasons I will talk about soon. Where has that other pig gotten off to? We will look. Maybe we'll just have to go down that canal a little farther and find ones that were further away. It's not like there were a great shortage of them. There's one. Did you see that little pink pig? Where'd he get off to? Was it my imagination? Nope, there he is. Okay. And it's getting dark, so we'll have to sleep on it. This is why we bring a bed with us. Alright. We'll take this pig back home. Try and find the other pig on the way back. Let's see, what's the best way out of here? There aren't any good ways out of here. We're gonna have to dig a way out. If I wasn't digging just 2 or 3 blocks out, I would get a shovel out, but it was just a little digging, so I didn't want to mess with going into my inventory and finding another shovel and pulling it down. We have a couple right here, but where'd that other pig get off to? We can't keep them in one place. Alright, you, stay here. Instead of wandering around with my potato out, putting my pigs who knows where. I'll leave that one there. Go find the one that halfway followed us to the other pig. This is what we call a waste of time. I shouldn't have led the other pig around. I thought the pig was just right there next to the first one that we found. I thought the second one was right next to that first one. But it appears that it wasn't. They like to wander around. And that is the second pig again. You see how far he wandered in just 20 or 30 seconds. So you can see sometimes finding livestock for your farms is a real adventure. Sometimes you have to go running around for days looking for some. Now I'm starting to wonder if pig number 2 and pig number 1 are actually the same pig. And that the first one just wandered over there when I got a little too far away from him. That's strange. I knew I had seen 2 pigs earlier. Alright, well, we'll go into exploration mode. We're going to find another pig. We're going to bring it home. This is a plains area here. Well, part plains, part hilly forest. And plains are excellent places to go looking for livestock because you can see a whole lot of space very easily. You don't have to go climbing through trees like I'm doing right now. When you're wandering the plains, you can see there's plains over there. We'll get there in a moment. And there's a pig. So we don't really have to go all the way to the plains, but we'll walk in such a way as we can see it on our way back. We're keeping our eye on that pig so he doesn't get away from us. And we still haven't quite gotten out of the forest, but you can see over there, there is a plains area. No trees. Anyway, I'm going to show you a little trick if I haven't shown you already. You can trap mobs, like this pig here, in a boat. And a boat can hold 2 passengers. So I can right click on that boat, I can get in it, and then I can bring that pig home. And if I bring him home in the boat, I'm going to be able to move a lot faster than if I just walk. You can see we move pretty quickly in a boat, and that's why I built this canal. we've got a long trip ahead of us. I went out and looked for a village so that we could get some villagers quickly. Hello, piggy. Come along with me to your new home. And it is a long way away. That village that I found is very far away. So I started building a canal because you can move much faster in a boat than you can on foot, and I don't have any horses yet. So boats are very simple and easy to make. I'll show you that recipe real quick. It is simply to take 5 wooden blocks of the same type of wood and place them in a little U shape or boat shape or however you want to think about it. You can see that over here we have our spruce boat. Look, now we have 2. It was made out of spruce planks, it's a spruce boat. So if I were to make it out of oak, it would look a little bit different. It would be a little bit lighter colored. No. Come over here. We've got a place specifically in mind for you. Come on down. Alright, now let's switch to our shovel. Oops. Let's get our dirt down here too, before the pig pushes his way out. Come back down here. Alright, should have set that up before. There we go. Alright, one little piggy in our pen. Now we're going to go back and grab that other one. Last I saw him, he was in the canal. He is still in that canal, sticking out like a wet pig. Here we go. There's another little trick. So he's just floating along in the canal. We're gonna get him into our boat like that. Now, in order for a mob to be trapped in the boat, they do have to move into the boat. Once in a while, you'll see mobs just kind of wander across the boat instead of into it. But most of the time, if a mob willingly, under its own power, moves over top of a boat, it gets stuck into the boat. And then it can't move anymore. That's an excellent way to control the location of a mob, as well as a way to move it. You'll see we'll use that later with villagers. Oh, we're going to get this pig up in his pen. Come on down, piggy. Alright. And we're going to hop out of here real fast. Almost not fast enough. You can imagine how big of a mess it would be when we have that many animals in there. It actually gets pretty hard to get out without them getting out. And that's why this is a quick and dirty solution, not a long-term solution. There are better ways to handle it. But this one's easy, we just have to dig a hole. At least it's easy to start. So, our camp is looking pretty good. Now it is time for us to start working on other things. We don't have a lot of time left for this video, so I'm going to show you the pumpkin farming thing that I've been working on. We're going to actually make some changes from what I have been doing, because even between when I started this little pumpkin farm and now, I've thought of a way to improve it. So in the other one we had this little cliff that we had. It was a little hill with a flat side. Not really a cliff, too short to be a cliff, right? But and we had some dirt placed over top of our stems that grow the melons and the pumpkins. They grow the same way. And that kept us from accidentally trampling the stems or keeping wandering traders from accidentally trampling the stems. And still gave us access to these pumpkins. So I'm just going to get these real quick with the axe. because they're in the way. So we have a slightly different arrangement set up here, you can see. And you can also see the flaw in that arrangement. Some of the pumpkins grow back to where we have the water stored. You remember in the other pumpkin farming, well, melon farming that we had going, melon farm that we had, small as it was, that, see, they grow very quickly, which is why we're doing it this way. Yeah, so in the last one, we had the water placed in between farm plots on this line here, and that's not a very efficient use of space. So I thought, well, we can move it off of that line. If we were to move it onto this line, we'd stumble over it, I was thinking. But there are actually ways around that. So I thought, I'm sorry, I'm not making very much sense at this moment. Normally you wouldn't want open water sitting here in the same line as your pumpkins, because the pumpkins can't grow onto it. And as I recall, if we were to cover that with a stone slab so that we don't stumble on it, and so that you know, that the ground is level and it's not open air like it is back there that pumpkins can't grow on, that would be good, but I think, and I might have to double check this, maybe we should just do a little experiment right now. It's getting so dark. I'm just going to lay down. Okay, so I'm not entirely certain that pumpkins will grow on a stone slab. I haven't tried it. We should probably experiment with that and find out. But anyway, so I thought, well, let's put the water behind it. And that's how we ended up with these spots where the pumpkins are growing back behind. It's not as effective as I was hoping it would be, so we are going to change it. Sorry for not having all of this thought out before I started the video. May not be making quite as much sense as I would like to make. So we're going to clear out all of this dirt here so that we can get in there and change things. You can see that I've already come up with one possible solution. We can just cover up those spots where the pumpkins are growing in a direction we don't want them to. But I think there's an even better way, one that won't make us have to use torches here to light the area, although I think that looks kind of cool. So I may stick with that, because you can see now inside this area that's surrounded by dirt, we still have light. So I may still leave this lighting trench there, but I'm still deciding on this whole melon pumpkin farm arrangement. I haven't, in the past I've done them in farm plots here, but it ends up not being a very efficient use of the space, and you end up stumbling all over the pumpkins all the time, and sometimes you end up trampling the plants. These plants take about 30 minutes to grow. You really don't want to trample them. It takes a long time for them to grow up. So I haven't really had the best arrangement, but I think we can do a little better. So we could put some stone slabs there, and we could cover this whole area in dirt and then not have any torches at all. The problem with that is then we're stuck with putting torches here along this wall or along the dirt. Well, we can't put along the dirt because we want the pumpkins to grow there, but we end up putting the torches here, and then when you run them down the line and chopping up pumpkins, you end up knocking your torches down. I hope all of this makes sense since you can't see it. I mean, I guess I could just show you. You know, if we've got a bunch of torches there and there's a bunch of pumpkins here, I'll just show you. there's a chance that we're going to end up chopping those torches, as you see just happened right there. If we're not real careful, we end up chopping it. So we don't want torches on this line. We want pumpkins on this line and just enough space over it so that we can run straight down the line chopping pumpkins. And we want to make sure that this back line has good lighting so that we don't let monsters spawn, and it makes it look a little cooler. And then we need to make sure that we don't have places for the pumpkins to go where we don't want them to go. So, because I don't know if stone slabs will let the pumpkins grow over there, let's experiment. Because I want to know this thing, and I'm not certain. I could just go look it up on the internet, but we're just gonna do this instead. I like to use stone slabs, not cobblestone slabs or wood slabs or whatever. I think they look a little nicer. Let's see, we've got a little copper from some of my other mining that I've had to do as part of building the canal, actually. Alright, one more of these I think will be enough. Oops, dang it. Accidentally canceled that one. We'll cut this one up while we wait. And put away our stone. Alright, now we got this here. Let's go back to our stone cutter. Cut a couple more stone slabs. That should be more than enough. We may have only needed 3. I forget how many we have. Alright, so we are going to put some stone slabs down, making sure to be careful to aim at the top half of the block. If we aim at the bottom half, it'll go down there, and it won't cover the water the way we want. Alright, now that's covered up. And we'll just pay attention over the next several times that we harvest and see if the pumpkins will grow on stone. At least if they'll grow on stone slabs. Some things behave differently when you put them on half, or put them near half blocks, like these stone slabs. Alright, so I think the best way to organize all of this is going to be to cover those up so that we can't accidentally have, or can't unintentionally or undesirably have pumpkins growing back off of the line we want to be harvesting off of. And I'm just chopping these off here because I think it'll look a little nicer if it's all dirt instead of some of it dirt and some of it stone. We're going to go need to pick up another stack of dirt. I suppose we can do that if we want to. I don't really see a lot of reason not to cover that spot, I guess. Does it cause any problems? I guess it means that these plants won't be as well lit. That doesn't matter. It doesn't. These stems will produce in complete darkness, contrary to how things would be in real life. I think it might look a little nicer if we leave that top row in the back open. We do want there to be plenty of light. So we're going to leave this back row open. Oops. And we will just, of course the problem with that is it means that we'll have grass growing there. I don't know how much we're going to be able to see that once this is finished. Let's just do it and find out. Alright. Alright, we can't see what's going on back there. Let's check our light levels. 9. That is good enough. Let's see what it looks like if we do this. Makes the light have to travel farther. Light's still level 9. But I think it looks a little nicer if we don't cover those top blocks back there. That looks pretty nice, I think. Now, I would probably leave the water alone and not cover it, if it weren't for the fact that I'm curious about whether these pumpkins will grow on top of that. But, alright, well, I think I've gone too long on this video. I will continue to experiment with this a little bit. I have some ideas of things I'm going to do. I'll finish them up. I'll just tell you about them real quick, but it'll take me a little while to do them, so I'm not going to make you watch through it. It's going to take a while to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to enclose this. I'm going to enclose this pumpkin farming thing. We're going to have some lines of dirt here coming back, and then at either end we'll have an opening like this, so that we can just go straight down the line, chop it up. I'm going to carve a channel, or a passageway, I should say, this way, and then we will grow pumpkins on both sides of this well channel, I'm going to call that. It's not quite an irrigation channel, it's not quite a canal or anything, but we'll grow stems on both sides, and we'll go for, I think, about 32 plants on each side, so that we can grow a whole stack of pumpkins, harvest a whole stack of pumpkins in one go. But that'll take a little while. It'll take another 10 or 20 minutes, and this video's gone pretty long already, so I'm going to end this one for now. Thank you for coming along for our little extra long new camp video. We will see you again soon. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.